Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown between the pun master himself, Optimus Pine, and the Cube Captain. Should be a good fun game. The Beastmen are hyped up by that recent DLC news, and are going to be coming in with an old school classic, Chaos Spawn Rush, up against the forces of Skaven. Going to be a fun game. I think Beastmen in general don't have the worst time up against the Vermintide, because they're very good at swarming and getting into the back line, and a lot of Skaven players like to play in this defensive format. So for the force of the Beastmen going very wide, it's a smart idea. We have Goreherds mixed in with the Destroyers of Drakworld, and just a load of Goreherds dotted all the way along, mixed in with the occasional Ungor Spearherd as well, for a little bit of support. Just behind them, we have Ungor Raiders. 1, 2, 3, 4 Ungor Raiders. One of the most overlooked range units in the game. They are disgustingly cheap. Now, they have very poor leadership all round. Not the best AP either, but there's 90 of them in a unit. You shoot enough crooked arrows at an enemy, it will eventually go down. We do have Chaos Spawn, 1, 2, 3 along the back line, supported by Morga the Shadowgave, who of course shall be summoning 2 of his very own Chaos Spawn and bringing them to the field. So it is a spawn rush through and through. Looks like in the new DLC trailer we're going to get some kind of a special Chaos Spawn as well for Khorne actually in Game 3. We do have Brave Shaman of Beasts coming with Flock of Doom and Manticore Summon, very powerful spells. And on the far side we have 2 Centaurs looping their way round the terrain, trying to remain hidden from the enemy. For the forces of Skaven, it's a smart little defensive formation with the Council Guard leading the front line, with Storm Vermin with swords and shields, and then a load of Skaven slaves making up the rest of the build, which can be a bit of a problem because the Centaurs are just going to ignore these guys in the front and crump in the back instead. We do have double Poison Wing Globadiers to try to bring the pain, as well as 2 Warplock Jezzails. We have a Plague Priest coming in with all those summons and usual good stuff. And down here on the ground, we do have Deathmaster Snickich himself, the most anime rat of all time, and I'm all for it. He is such a cool character with some of the best attack animations in the game. The one where he disappears randomly is amazing. Here's the Whirl of Weeping Blades and Deathmaster Sigil, and we have an Assassin coming in with all of the goodies. Actually, no Rival Tide Talisman. Coming with Skaven Brew though, Assassin's Trophy, and Slippery. But without further ado, let's get this battle underway. So the Beastmen are going to surge. It looks like they're delaying the front line slightly, which is smart. Allow the Centaurs to come round, allow the flanking units to pursue a little bit quicker. And now you're going to see on the minimap, yeah, this Skaven force, there is no way they're not going to get surrounded. They do come down a cheeky summon in the front line, looking to delay the initial engagement as quickly as possible. And Ungor Raiders are pressing forward. You know what? We don't need to charge into your front line because we have our archers to do that for us. We're going to pop up and shoot the Poison Wing Globadiers. We have the range advantage, and if Jezzails are shooting in to Ungor Raiders, the Beastmen are happy for that because it is certainly not going to be good value for them. A rather large, or loud I should say, Feral Manticore Summon goes down, but again can be used to pop into the back line. This is worrying though. The Brave Shamans come in, and the Deathmaster plus the Assassin are on top of him right now. He was way too hyped up by the recent DLC news. Hit by an Assassin's Trophy. Deathmaster Sigil goes down. Smart, leaving that a little bit of a delay to see if you can catch him. And he is getting assassinated. No way, he goes down in seconds. Deathmaster Snickich is really good at bursting down characters, and the Brave Shaman has shattered. The Beastmen have no magic. All they got was one lousy Manticore Summon. Ungor Raiders continue to pour fire into the Poison Wing Globadiers. Chaos Spawn are now running rampant through the enemy back line, which is quite good. We've also got some summoned Chaos Spawn right on top of the Giddy Bag, hitting all those weapon teams. It's so hard to protect those guys up against the Beastmen, particularly when you're expecting Morga the Shadowgave. Fair Manticore Summon is still doing work, up to 17 kills, needs to hop on top of some key targets, and in come the Centaurs. Thunderous charge into the back of the Skaven slaves, who simply cannot hold up to the might of a full-blown cavalry charge. And I do not blame them. Cavalry charges are horrendous. It's kind of hard to actually comprehend when you haven't been in a battle before, I'm sure. Ungor Raiders are making a nice little formation around, so they can pour fire in from all angles and not be shut down too easily, though the mutant Rat Ogre, who was vibing in the middle of the Skaven force, has now pushed forward, looking to bring the pain to these Ungor Raiders, and he's definitely doing that. Severing limbs and the entire top half of this guy, and an arm has gone. Council Guard are doing okay. They're up against Chaos Spawn, which is a good target for them, but Goreherds, they're no joke. They can dish it out to such units relatively effectively. Deathmaster Snickich and the Assassin are looking rather healthy, but his range tools are completely overrun. Poison Wing Globadiers going down. It looks like both Chaos Spawn summons are currently on the field, and even with that, balance of power is slightly against the Beastmen, so when those summons go down, it's not looking great. Warplock Jezzails have been forced off though, with the added mobility of the Beastmen. They should be able to run down and tread enemy under hoof, which is good to see. Ungol Raiders continue to rain fire in, doing some good focus fire on the Mutant Rat Ogre. Centaurs are such a useful unit. They hit pretty hard on the charge, and that charge is enough to break off the Mutant Rat Ogre, who is taking arrow after arrow to the chest like a champ. The rest of the Ungol Raiders continue to pour fire in now, probably aiming for the Plague Priest. I would assume it is the largest target. The Death Master and Assassin are quite minute targets to hit, actually. It seems like he is going for the Assassin, though. Cancer Guard down to 60 models, despite only having 1,700 health left. Goreherds are eventually chopping those guys down. Chaos Spawn will probably be biting the dust, though, for taking out the enemy unit there. Poison Gladiators may rally, definitely get some guys on them to shut them down, but at the moment they're not really too much of pain. They're quite far away from the battle, and it looks like we have Stormvermin with Sword and Shields once again returning to the fight. I love this play coming in by the Beastmen. Simply fall back with your Ungol Raiders. You do not want to engage in this type of fight. Pull back, try to get the Goreherds in there to support, wait for the summons to go down, and play the long game. Centaurs are disengaging from their pursuit of the Mutant Rat Ogre to come back and protect the Ungol Raiders, which is 100% the right move. Leave just one unit chasing off. There's no need for two there whatsoever. Deathmaster Snickich has popped Slippery, so he's going to be increasing his speed to a pretty deadly kind of degree, actually. Should allow him to catch the Ungol Raiders, who are wavering in his mere presence. And honestly, if there's a rat that is as tall as you, with triple blades, one attached to his tail, I would be running as well. Centaurs are going to fall back. Balance power is against the Beastmen at the moment, but certainly not out of sight, particularly because Clan Rats are just going now, though that doesn't seem to affect the balance power too much. On the back line, those Poison Wing Globers did actually come back, and they're getting some really lovely damage. I think the Beastmen are kind of ruining that mistake that they didn't chase these guys off for good, because they do so much damage. Goreherds getting beat back. Somehow the Council Guard still remaining strong. Centaurs, though, are floating out to this flank to deal with the Poison Wing Globadiers, which is going to be lovely for them. Get these guys off the field, push that balance power back a little bit more. Lovely little attack comes in from the Plague Priest, catching quite a few of the Ungol Raiders, and we can see this side has been dealt with. Chaos Spawn are starting to ramrod in and shove over the Assassin, but Deathmaster Snickich uses his Whirl of Weakened Blades, disappears in a puff of smoke, throws a smoke bomb, and gets to slicing and dicing, although his little Assassin friend does come in and steal his kill. Deathmaster certainly not going to be too happy about that. Balance power is creeping more and more into the favour of the Skaven, but we have 40 Centaurs here, as well as 32, and again, with effective cycle charging, they can certainly do a good job. We have the Destroyers, not 100% sure where these guys have been. Looks like they've hardly been involved in the battle, only losing 2 models, but they are certainly a welcome addition to come back in and try to be an anvil to the hammer of the Centaurs. On the far side, we can see Ungol Raiders continuously being chased by Skaven Slave Spears. The Goreherds are in hot pursuit, but it looks like the Raiders will, for the most part, most likely be caught here. And the Centaurs do start to roam towards the main battle line once more. Ungol Raiders are forced off here, and all-round Skaven player making the right decision. Chase these guys off, get them away. They have too much ammunition, and 44 arrows coming in is a big pain in the butt. The second Ungol Raider unit continuing to leg it across the battlefield, as the other troops just chase off enemy routing forces, which of course is the right idea to do. I'm going to fast forward just during this little lull of the battle before these guys do go at it once more. Centaurs float out to this flank in a desperate attempt to save the Ungols, and it is going to pay off. They just about get there in time, and you've just saved the lives of 67 Ungol Raiders, who will only fight all the harder, knowing that they now owe their lives to the Centaurs. And the Beastmen starting to pull back their forces. Now, balance power is looking scary. They've lost their leadership, and Beastmen have low leadership for the most part anyway. But one Assassin, one Deathmaster. These guys aren't really designed to deal with mass enemy infantry. However, the Plague Priest coming in may be able to see to that anyway, particularly with some summons going down. So just the armies once again reapproach. You always know it's been a good game where both players just go absolutely balls to the wall at it against each other, and then they chase off all the troops and reform and go in for one last fight. Goreherds didn't fancy that last fight, unfortunately. Deathmaster up to 34 kills now, certainly doing a good job so far. We are going to see a summon come down of Clan Rats looking to protect the Plague Priest from the charge of the Centaurs, who are going to be lowering their spears and coming in for war. And they've got, a lot of punch. They've got a lot of punch, hopping in and running over some of those Clan Rats, but unfortunately for them, these guys are just a summon, and it's almost a waste to go in and kill them. Ungol Raiders are now focused firing down the Plague Priest, which I think is the right idea. Hit him, hit the Deathmaster. He only has 30 armor at this point, so any arrow that does connect is most likely going to do some pretty solid damage. More shots do rain in. Unfortunately, Ungol Raiders aren't the most accurate of fellows. The Destroyers, having returned from their voyage afar, are coming in to do some nice damage, and Centaurs hit from all sides. Never underestimate cycle charging from the flanks and rear, but the Deathmaster whips around those blades with deadly accuracy, carving up Centaurs and Ungols and Gors up to 56 kills in a matter of seconds from the mid-30s. Centaurs once again pull out, and this is good experience tournament play. Just keep hammering down, keep working at that leadership, because if the Beastmen didn't fought this, they would 100% lose. But look at the Plague Priest's morale. He doesn't like it. He's been charged in the rear, he's surrounded, and he's getting shot. That's a lot of negatives, particularly late in the game when you are quite beat up. And this is a good way to claw your way back in to a position where you are 100% getting dominated and losing. You come in and do this late game management. It's a real tricky skill to learn. Chasing off enemy troops, surrounding them, routing them, breaking them with constant charging is the way forward. And the Plague Priest has now broken. One of these Centaurs is certainly going to chase it off the battlefield, while the other one aims for the characters. I still don't know if it's going to be possible, though. The Deathmaster's 2,000 HP, Assassin 2,000 as well. Ungol Raiders struggling to get shots in because they are doing a lot of kind of flips and attack animations and missed a load of bodies, which of course are the Destroyers. Centaurs going to be riding in once more. Maybe they'll be able to push them out of the combat as well, which would be quite useful, so the arrows can come in and do some nice work. But every time they charge in, Centaurs do drop. The leadership is quite low on the Assassin, though. Down quite a bit. And if you have a little look here, they have the exposed phalanx, they're exhausted, they're getting attacked in the rear, they're getting charged. It's just, there's so many problems coming in and stacking on top of each other, and the Assassin is so close to wavering, but they break the Destroyers of Drakwold, and now can get on the targets they need to shut down the Ungol Raiders. And also, that morale is heavily boosted back up, and they're destroying these lightly armoured infantry. Centaurs starting to ride in, though, onto the back of the Assassin once more, and as soon as they connect, it is a different story. However, Slippery is once again active, and if there is any more Whirling Weeping Blades, when the Centaurs come in like this, it could be devastating, and we do see it go down. Oh my god, look at the bodies surrounding him. Oh, such a good cast, up to 107 kills. I love to see Deathmaster in action. And the Centaurs are now wavering and getting pretty low themselves. So, yeah, they're getting good work with the cycle charging, but they do lose models every single time they try this. Ungol Raiders are continuing to pour in and apply pressure onto the characters here. And we have some rallying Gore Herds. 44. That is not too shabby whatsoever. A beautiful volley by those Ungors, trying to get some revenge, but the flips come in. Oh, I need to get like a compilation of all his attack animations or something, and upload it to YouTube so you guys can see, because often you see stuff from away from the battlefield, but yeah, he's one of the best at it. Getting very low health wise though, 824. The Gore Herds look to be breaking, they're exhausted and they are gone, but the Destroyers have come back. It's bought time for the Beastmen to rally, and we still have really good ammunition left on these Ungol Raiders, who just need to pour in that fire. But these sneaky little rats are very fleet of foot and quick across the ground, bounding no doubt on all fours in a second to gain that speed on top of the Ungols, who are not looking to have a good time. But the Centaurs come in with a rear attack, pushing the Skaven to the ground and rescuing their archers once more. They've done that multiple times. How important was it that these guys went over to that far side to save them earlier on? Deathmaster's wavering, Centaurs coming in once again to try and drag him down, but the Assassin is nearby. Only 530 health, minus leadership, minus 35, and the Deathmaster does break. He has had enough. I don't blame him. He's designed to kill single characters, but he's had to carry a lot, getting 116 kills. An Assassin does remain, and the Beastmen hordes are wavering. Centaurs wavering, Destroyers wavering, Ungols moving up towards close combat. Deathmaster Nikic, I thought he had rallied there, but he seems to just not really knowing which way to go, trying to find his best way home. He's like, there's enemies all around me, help me, and flees back towards his Assassin's friend. Balance power, though, for the first time in the entire battle after 15 minutes, is in favour of the Beastmen. Deathmaster definitely going to get run down here. Only 478 health as well. It wouldn't take too long to shatter him, you wouldn't think. And the Assassin, seeing his Liege Lord, the Deathmaster, run for his life, is wavering, and one last charge from Centaurs slaps into the flank of him, and he doth break. A Pyrrhic victory if ever I've seen one. Optimus Pine take a bow. He was massively behind after the misplay early on with the Brave Shaman Beasts, but due to some fantastic and quite clearly experienced late game management, he managed to drag it back. And as I said multiple times through the battle, cycle charging in late game is massive, and the way you get that advantage is by dominating map control, a really overlooked key part of Total War Warhammer multiplayer, and in fairness, wars and battles in general. Well played to Cube Captain though, love the Death Master play, interesting build as well. I think it's a bit too tight of a formation to deal with Beastmen. I think an Onion style approach may be better, but at the same time I'm sure he's had success with this build, and he did run it pretty damn close. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We will get to the damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in just a second. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe as well if you haven't already, and check that you have subscribed because YouTube is sometimes a little bit sketchy. And feel free to comment down below. What was your favourite moment? Who was your MVP? My favourite moment was certainly the attack animations on the Death Master, doing those flips and tricks, turning invisible, and all that groovy business. And there are going to be links in Discord. I got a pretty huge announcement. Actually, I'm going to say for tomorrow. But there will be links down below anyway, interesting links you can check out on how you can save a load of money buying games, basically, while supporting the channel. There's also links down below to my Patreon if you want to support. I'm asking CA if I'm allowed to do training sessions as well. Make that a tier on my Patreon. I'm sure it'll be all good, but I want to double check because 10 is making money off the game, and I don't know if that's like legally allowed and all that stuff. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, feel free. There's also links to my Discord where you can submit replays, just like Optimus Pine did. I always love replays. Do never get disheartened if your replay doesn't get put up on the channel. I get sent a lot of replays, and I can't unfortunately put every single one up. So just keep sending them in, and I guarantee eventually you will get there. Anyway, guys, let's move on to the important stuff. We'll go through the Skaven force first. Death Master Snickage, 116 kills. 1,821 damage value, but more importantly was his sigil he popped at the right time on that Brave Shaman to ensure its doom. The Assassin, 1,300. The Dream Team coming in with a near victory, but not quite, unfortunately. Just a heroic loss there. 1,000 damage value on the Plague Priest is pretty solid work, and of course the Skaven Slaves do basically nothing across the board. Storm Women, though, an interesting pick and quite good in this matchup. You don't get to see terribly often, getting 879 damage value, 1,400 on the Council Guard. I cannot stress how important it is to have a unit like this, an unbreakable unit, in Skaven who have quite poor leadership. The mighty Poison Wing Globadiers, though getting shut down quite quickly, 1.6k damage value and 652, not too shabby. Gisele's struggling a bit more with only 300 and 650 damage value. The Mutant Rat Ogre as well, overextending. I understandably wants to shut down the enemy range, but unfortunately, overextended a little bit too much there. Shadow gave only 200 damage value, 52 on the Brave Shaman, and the Gore Herds across the board did pretty good. Now, not damage value-wise, but they got a lot of kills and cleared out the chaff, which is an important part of the battle. The Destroyers went on a journey, came back in the late game, were pretty pivotal, but the Ungor Raiders, my god, 500 damage value, 740, 740, and 369 for such a cheap unit is really good work, and some of them still had ammunition at the end. But the Centaurs, the Centaur play was masterful, and I think Centaurs and Razorgore Herds are currently the two best units in the Beastmen roster, in my opinion. I am not a Beastmen main though, so feel free to let me know down below if you disagree. But 2,000 damage value on this unit, 1,800 on the other, 223 kills and 200 kills. The Chaos Spawn unfortunately kind of got run over there a little bit. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.